Day 8. Annie and Emma led the charge today. We hiked to some higher elevation, being very mindful of our footing. Sandstone can be misleading and can break so fast, so it was imperative to test certain steps and always mind the edge. Such a gorgeous view going up. We zigzagged in pods, or moving close together, to avoid risk of loose rocks falling on each other. I have a healthy fear of heights, and any risk that involves falling, so I definitely found this challenging.
I love that you're loving the rock, Wayne.
I love this rock so much.
Cal being super encouraging as usual.
You got it, Wayne. Nice work, y'all. Look at us. Day 8. Let's go.
And what a spectacular view.
Nice work, Cha-cha, rock down. Yeah, Judy.
We couldn't spend too long though because we still had to hit the road. Literally, we had to find the road and then walk it out for like 10 miles. While some people have been embracing wearing the same clothes every day, I actually enjoyed a bit of comfort from a routine where I changed into fresh, dry clothes every single night. Well, I had finally run out, and none of my clothes were fully dry anymore. Thankfully, my quick dry clothes dried in the sun as I walked, and I would tie my socks on my pack so it would dry on the outside, and I would change out socks constantly to avoid worsening blisters on my feet. We found it and then split into our 2 hiking groups. While on one hand the terrain was more smooth, it also made it less interesting, so in some ways the journey seemed longer. And we weren't at the bottom of the canyon anymore. Cool, but that meant we also didn't have an abundant amount of water anymore. It also meant that we had to be careful with the sun and heat exhaustion. We tried to take breaks in the shade and made sure we kept ourselves cool by rehydrating when we came across a running water source. And even splashing ourselves, using our handkerchiefs as cooling cloths. And then we came across some snow, which was great to give us a nice cool down. Putting it on my head and letting it melt slowly while wearing my hat was a nice way to stay cool-headed. Haha.
Ooh, baby.
I was gonna smash some on my head and leave.
That's right, I put it underneath my hat.
I did find it interesting though that we went from one extreme of too cold and now got to experience when it can get too hot. Elevation still strong at above 7,000. By mile 9, I was getting pretty exhausted from my pack. We took a break about every hour, but I needed a good long one.
That's true.
I needed to be done. We found the other group who had found a spot for camp. Mac and cheese and quinoa with curry were making their rounds. Tonight would be our last evening meal together in the Canyonlands, and we were gonna celebrate with some cake for dessert. We did our course evaluations, self-evaluations, and had one final chat with our mentors before grouping together and reflecting on our journey as a squad.
We got the cake. Wait. It's mostly baked and there's 2.
You know, the GoPro doesn't do well capturing low light and at night. So it's nothing that I could have captured, but it was really something special to be just enveloped under the stars, surrounded by all these constellations I didn't even know existed. It was pretty incredible. And to be sitting there with the squad, reflecting on everything that we went through this week, it was really awesome to just be there, to be present, and just look up at the stars and know that we accomplished something pretty spectacular. having the cake aroma waft on through, man, that scene is something that I'll probably cherish forever. And I'm really, really grateful to have been able to spend this trip with the crew. I knew I wanted to cowboy camp that night. I was gonna do at least one night, and I wanted to save it for the last night, and it was a perfect night. It was clear skies, no rain or snow or ice. It was gonna be great, and it was absolutely incredible. Really glad I did it, and to be able to just fall asleep under the stars like that is something I'll never forget. Now, we only had a short hike left the next day to get to our van, and then we'll be back to reality, home sweet home, and out of the Canyonlands.